In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to set up a payment plan with the IRS.
As the old saying goes, there are two certainties in life. Number one, death. And number two, taxes. We can't help you with death, but we've got you covered with taxes. This is Ask the Tax Attorney. As you know, the federal government doesn't play when it comes to owning taxes, but too many people freak out about it. So if you're a business owner and you're in trouble, or you're afraid you might be in trouble with the IRS, this is the show for you. Your host is a tax attorney with over 20 years of experience, and she's helped clients erase over $4 million in tax debt. So let's get to it. This is the Ask the Tax Attorney podcast. And now your host, Claudia Moncarz.
So let's talk about that dreaded letter that you got from the IRS. You know, the one that says you owe taxes and you have 21 days to pay the amount you owe in full. The one you can't pay? Hey, it's okay. Most of us have gotten a similar letter. And if you are going through that situation now, I have good news for you. You don't have to pay in full. You have several options. But today, we will talk about one of them, the installment agreement, or more commonly referred to as a payment plan. Yes, you can set up a payment plan with the IRS to pay off your debt. So let me tell you how this works. First, let's define the term payment plan as it is viewed by the IRS. For them, a payment plan is an agreement you enter into with the IRS to pay the taxes you owe over a period of time longer than 21 days. This type of solution allows you to pay off your debt over a time period by making manageable monthly payments similar to a mortgage payment or a student loan payment, but this is a payment plan for your taxes. And just like there are different flavors of ice creams at the store, there are different types of installment agreements available to you, depending on your debt, income, assets, and other factors. But before we discuss those different types of flavors, there's one thing all payment plans have in common. Before the IRS will let you set up a payment plan for the taxes you owe, you have to make sure all your returns are filed and you are up to date in any income withholding requirements, such as withholding for your paycheck or estimated quarterly payments. So now that we have the basic rule for all plans, let me briefly tell you about them. First, let's talk about the short-term payment plan. Through this program, if you can pay in full immediately, you may qualify for additional time, which can be up to 108 days to pay in full. Now, let's say you owe less than $10,000 in taxes, then you may qualify for the Guarantee Installment Agreement. This is for you if in the last 5 years you have not entered into an installment agreement and you can pay the amount owed within 3 years. Then we have the Streamlined Installment Agreement. This payment plan is for you and you can be approved automatic for a payment plan without having to provide further financial details if you owe less than $50,000 in taxes, penalties, and interest, everything combined, and can pay the full amount within 72 months or before the collection due period expires, whichever one occurs first. But a little caveat here, you may be required to sign up for a direct debit for your monthly payment, depending on the amount you owe. But on the bright side, a federal tax lien will most likely not be filed by the IRS. If you owe more than $50,000, then you may qualify for a non-streamlined installment agreement. Unlike the streamlined installment agreement, with this payment plan, you will be required to submit detailed financial information. Think of it like applying for a mortgage. The financial information will be used to decide whether to accept or reject your proposed payment plan. Lastly, if you can't pay the full tax debt within 72 months or the time before the collection due time expires, then you may qualify for the partial payment installment agreement. This type of payment plan also requires detailed financial disclosure of your assets, your monthly income, and your expenses. After the IRS reviews this information, the IRS may decide that you should sell some assets to settle some of your tax debt. And this type of payment plan is subject to review and modification every 2 years. But you may have a portion of your tax debt wiped out through this type of payment plan. So win a little, lose a little. So if one of these plans I just mentioned sounds like one that you would like to apply to your own personal tax debt, you can do so through various methods such as telephone, mail, in person, or even online for some of them. And if you already have a payment plan with the IRS and are anticipating owing taxes this year, you can amend your old agreement to include the new balance. Long story short, there are many options available to pay off your taxes without breaking the bank. And we just talked about one of them, but little subsections under it, sub options. And if you need help setting up a payment plan, don't hesitate to contact us, and we will guide you through this journey. For more information, go to www.talktoclaudia.com. Once more, is www.talktoclaudia.com. And until next time, this is Claudia.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Ask the Tax Attorney podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. This helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. And if they're in tax trouble, they will too. Once again, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.